guys, it's Katie, and I'm here today to do the Fantasy Fun book tag. I wasn't tagged by anybody, but I saw Shelby from Read and Find Out do it, and I talked to her a little bit in the comments and kind of mentioned that I was going to do it. So I guess you could say I was unofficially tagged by her, but theoretically I wasn't tagged by anybody. But there are 7 questions, and it's kind of a fun and interesting tag, so let's just jump right on in. Number 1. What fantasy series would you want to be a part of? You would be yourself, but a character in the series. Whether you survive would depend on your own abilities or abilities you could potentially learn in that world. And honestly, most of the fantasy worlds that I tend to enjoy are very perilous and dangerous places. However, that said, I would 100% want to be a part of the Shire from The Lord of the Rings. They're such a peaceful place, and they're just so self-sustaining, and it just has everything I love, from food to great community to great storytelling, and just a good time is had by everybody. And I feel like I would fit in there really, really well. Number 2. What type of fantasy being do you want to be? You could be a human-like one, an elf, a shadow hunter, a wizard, or a mythical creature like a dragon or a unicorn. Knowing me, I'd probably either be a hobbit or an elf of some kind. I don't know which. I don't necessarily really care. I just know I'd probably fall into one of those categories. But I would probably end up being more of an elf-like creature than anything else because of my overall features. Number 3, living your everyday life. Would you rather have magic powers or have a mythological creature for a pet / BFF? For example, have a dragon you could ride around. Honestly, can't you just have both? Why not both? I could have magical powers, but also have a pet companion. I mean, why am I being forced to pick out of the two of these things? Because I don't see them as mutually exclusive. But, so I'd probably have some kind of magical powers, but I'd also want a dragon because yes, please. So yeah, both. We're not picking. Number 4, who's your favorite fictional dragon? That's like asking me to pick what my favorite fruit is. I mean, there are so many different dragons out there, and they all have so many different characteristics that it's really difficult to pick. I mean, I like Smaug. I mean, he's an interesting little dragon, but I also love the dragon from My Father's Dragon, which is a lovely little middle grade book. I loved Tintalia from The Realm of the Elderlings because she is a literal queen. And I mean, just there are so many really interesting dragons out there that it's impossible to pick a favorite, I think. Number 5, what is your favorite fantasy movie? This, of course, includes movies where modern day people end up in fantasy worlds. Now, I'd be lying if I said that The Lord of the Rings wasn't my favorite fantasy movie trilogy, because it totally is. I love it, but only the extended version, because you can't watch any other versions because you just don't get the full effect, and it just seems weird now that I'm thinking about it. But I'm also going to give a shout out to another one of my favorite fantasy movies that is just technically, I just don't know anyone that's ever seen it. Like, outside of my family, I don't know anyone that has ever seen this movie. But it's called Lady Hawk. And basically the premise of it is it follows a man and a woman who are in love, but have a curse thrust upon them, and they can never be together. So it's like they're eternally together but forever apart because of this curse. Such a good movie. The soundtrack is garbage, but the movie and the plot is just, in my personal opinion, it's great. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I definitely recommend going to check it out if you haven't. But keep in mind that it is from the 80s, so it's a bit corny at times, but it's super good, okay? Just go watch the thing and come scream at me when you finished, because, hi, I love it. Number 6. If you could pull any character out of a fantasy series to live in the normal world as your friend or maybe a love interest, who knows, who would you choose? Note, this means that they would no longer be in their book world. So think about what that might mean. So when I read this question initially, I had all of these characters in mind, but then I read the last part, the note part, and I'm just like, oh, okay, my entire life has changed now. Um, so I'm not actually sure who I'd pick for that. Probably, I don't know, probably someone from Lord of the Rings. Because there are so many characters in there that I really, really like and I'd want to be friends with, but don't necessarily need to be in the world. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's complicated. We're just gonna go with that. I might say Faramir because his father is garbage and he deserves so much better than what he got in every way. I mean, yes, him and Eowyn would never meet in the Lord of the Rings if he wasn't there, but also I want to cherish him. He just and would we fall in love? Maybe, but I just really want him to have a happy life for a period of time, so I might pick Faramir. Number 7. If you could make a supporting character in any fantasy series the protagonist of that series, who would you make the new star? Being a fantasy tag and me loving the one with the Elderlings as much as I do, you know where this is going. So I do adore Fitz. I adore Fitz as a narrator and I love him in every possible way and I wouldn't change the series for anything. That being said, I really, 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 really want the Fool. I want to see the series from his point of view because I really need to see some of his reactions from him, not from Fitz's point of view, not from anyone else's point of view. I need to see it from his point of view. I really want that. So I don't know if I'd want to say just like make them the new star, but I want a series that's like literally the same, only told from the Fool's point of view. Like, please, please. Just give that to me and I will be happy for the rest of my life. Okay. Those are all of the questions. I had a really fun time doing this. Obviously, if you can't tell, I love fantasy and I have a lot of feelings about fantasy things. So yes, I don't know who to tag. There are probably so many people out here that have done it. But if you haven't and you want to do it and you love fantasy and you want to talk and scream about fantasy, I'm definitely going to tell you to do this tag and just say I tagged you if you decide to do it. But yeah, that's about all I've got. So as always, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media. I have a Twitter and a Goodreads, which are both linked below as always. And I also have other social media sites and request. And I will come back with another video for you guys again soon. Okay, bye.